Hey guys, it's Car Guy 11. I'm super excited. Honda has given me the opportunity to review their vehicles on the channel, and I have the brand new Honda CR-V Hybrid behind me. And it couldn't have come at a more perfect time because I just reviewed some of the Toyota hybrid systems, and as you probably know, I wasn't a super fan of their drivetrain for various reasons. So excited to get into this one, see how it drives, and see if it's better than the Toyota system. All right guys, it's been about a week since I've been driving the 6th generation CR-V, and I gotta tell you, I'm very surprised about this vehicle, and I'll explain that in a bit. But first thing we're gonna do here is make this hard right-hand turn. I'm going to demonstrate something. Actually want to demonstrate two things. So if you watched my Toyota hybrid system videos in the Corolla Cross, in the RAV4 Hybrid, all-wheel drive, both of them, you would have seen at that moment, in that same intersection, front wheel spin. Yes, I aggressively started from a stop. The front wheels would spin on those vehicles for a couple of reasons. In the Toyota system, they do not have a mechanical connection front to rear for the all-wheel drive system. It is an electric motor only in the rear. In this Honda system, it's a mechanical connection. There is a drive shaft front to rear, which is excellent. No slip there. In addition, in the Toyota system, you have a lot more power up front because it's the gas motor and the electric motor together, and only an electric motor in the rear. So this one, all the power is transferred fore and aft, and in this system, it can transfer 50% of the power to the rear. So I'm super happy about that. It definitely solved one of the biggest gripes I've had of the Toyota hybrid system. In addition, you get a lot of drone in the Toyota system because it's a CVT style transmission, and this one simulates gear shifts, and I'm going to demonstrate that here. We'll come to a complete stop. I will floor it from a stop here. So 2 shifts there, and it's a lot more pleasing sound. It's technically not a geared transmission. It has a gas engine, 4-cylinder engine with 2 electric motors. So they are simulating the shifts, and it makes it a whole lot more natural feeling. In addition, the sound of this engine and the noise it produces is a lot more subdued and quality sounding. So there's a lot more sound deadening going on here. Again, much more refined than the Toyota system. So I was not expecting this, honestly, guys. This is a superior powertrain over the Toyota hybrid system. Now, it's not perfect, but let me go around this corner here. Handles nicely. I did floor it through that corner. Yeah, this thing does really nice. I am really impressed with the tuning of this vehicle. The steering is also nicely weighted. It is rather heavy, but it does feel good. Okay, FedEx truck stopped in the middle lane. Brakes feel also nice. In fact, this, of course, since it's a hybrid system, it has a regen on braking. You do see that in the gauges, but it feels very natural feeling. Feels like a normal brake pedal, which is what you want. The other thing that's pretty cool, it has paddle shifters on the steering wheel, but they're not for shifting gears. They're for the regen level. So as you click a paddle, you're getting increasing amounts of braking or regen, and the other paddle just removes it. So pretty cool idea to use the paddle shifters. And again, on the Toyota system, it tries to do gears, but it's not very useful. So with this 2-liter 4-cylinder engine and 2 electric motors all up front, but it transfers mechanically to the rear, It's 204 horsepower and 247 pound-feet of torque. So I'm not saying it's extremely fast, but it gets the job done. You're going to get 0 to 60 in under 8 seconds. Another acceleration. You do feel that instant torque off the line with the electric motor. But of course, when you're just cruising along, you don't barely even hear the engine at all. And of course, it goes into EV mode when you lift off the throttle and at very slow speeds. There are some drive modes here. There's Sport, Normal, Econ, and Snow. I stayed in Normal pretty much the whole week, but Sport does give you increased throttle response and a peppier feel for sure. The engine kicks in sooner. I did not notice the steering changing in Sport mode. Econ does limit the climate control, which I always want the most heat or the most cooling possible, so I don't generally run in eco mode. I didn't get to try Snow, although we had a dusting of snow yesterday. The gauges are also very nice and legible, pretty simple. It's not a full digital, but it almost looks that way. The efficiency of this system isn't as good as the Toyota system. That is one thing I will give it to the Toyota. In the Corolla Cross, which is a tad smaller than the CR-V, I did get 35 miles per gallon combined. In this vehicle, I could not reach the 30 mile per gallon mark. It was just under, but it is winter here. I did warm up the vehicle, remote starts, and in general, hybrids use more fuel to warm up the cabin, so you're not going to get as good efficiency. I'm sure in warmer weather climates you will easily get above 30. It is marked at 37 miles per gallon combined and 34 on the highway, which is on the lower side, and that's because of this type of system at high speeds is not as efficient as the Toyota system. But I'm okay with that, and I will definitely sacrifice that efficiency for the refinement and performance of this vehicle. Again, with that four-wheel drive system that acts as a true four-wheel drive system, I really prefer that over basically a front-wheel drive system of the Toyota. But beyond the powertrain, which is superior, there are some other things I want to talk about, and that is the safety systems. This, of course, has all the latest safety systems, the blind spot monitoring, the cross-traffic detection, all of those features. But I always like to concentrate on the adaptive cruise control with lane centering. This, of course, has it, which is awesome, and it's standard. But I did find it's not as good as Toyota's Safety Sense 3.0 system as far as the lane centering is concerned, and I have a video here. Okay, out on the highway in adaptive cruise with the lane centering, I have to say these are some pretty big curves, but it is not wanting to stay in the lane. A little bit disappointed because it seemed to be doing well on more, slower speed roads, but yeah, this at highway speeds. Again, this is pretty tight corners for a highway where we're in Pennsylvania on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Otherwise, the system does really nice. It's nice and smooth with people cutting into the lane and then stopping. I just a little bit surprised that the lane centering system isn't stronger here. Again, here's another curve. It's going over the lane. So Honda needs to improve upon this. I haven't had experience with the Honda system before. One thing I will say is, I'll kick it out of the adaptive cruise, it'll still keep the lane tracing assist on. So it's still lane centering even though I don't have it on adaptive cruise control. That is a rare feature. I kind of like it. And you can always turn it off with the steering wheel button. That's your button to quickly turn on and off the lane centering system. Now the ride is also excellent in this vehicle, and it still handles well. It just feels really solid. You can tell the chassis is very rigid in this vehicle, which I definitely appreciate. Bumps are soaked up. and there's a solid thunk when you hit a bump. Now this vehicle weighs around 3,900 pounds, which is not bad for a hybrid with the battery pack. The battery pack sits under the rear load floor. And speaking of the rear, it does give decent room in the back and decent second row leg and headroom. There is one thing though, I do not like how the center seatbelt comes down from that ceiling, and it actually does block your driver's view a little bit, and it intrudes onto the cargo space in the back. So it's funny, Honda hasn't changed that for years. In fact, my girlfriend has a 3rd generation CR-V, and it's the same thing. That seatbelt comes down from the top. I don't know why they don't change that. So other than that though, this is a nice interior, quality interior. It has the dual zone climate control, has the heated seats. Unfortunately, it doesn't have cooled seats. It has a heated steering wheel, and the entire rim is heated. The RAV4 only has the grips heated, and this vehicle has the top and bottom as well. So I always love to see that. Although Toyota did fix that in the Prius, so hopefully that's a trend that they're gonna change that in the other vehicles as well. Also rather surprising in this vehicle, the seats are pretty sporty. They have bottom and back bolstering, and they are rather comfortable. Unfortunately, there is lumbar only on the driver's side, but otherwise they are very nice seats. The infotainment is a 9-inch screen on this top of the line sport touring trim. It does have a Bose stereo, which sounds really nice, and it has wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, just like you want. There is one thing though, when it's in CarPlay, it's not easy to switch between, say if you're listening to Sirius satellite radio, which is on the Honda head unit, it's not easy to switch between the two. You actually have to get out of CarPlay and then push one of these buttons down below. These buttons are all customizable, which is really cool. You can just slide whichever app you want. But I wish it was stationary, even in CarPlay, so you could quickly switch between different apps. Other than that, it has a single pane sunroof, not a panoramic. It would be nice to be a panoramic in this model. But as I said, this is a sport touring trim, the top of the line model for the CR-V, and it comes in just under $40,000. And of course, it's hybrid only as well in this trim. You can get all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. You can also get a 1.5 liter turbo gas-only option as well in the lower trims. I definitely recommend getting the hybrid though. It gives you that added power and very good fuel economy. Yes, it's not as good as the Toyota, but it's not far off either. I do love the blue color of this vehicle, and as you guys know, I love blue, but this one is spectacular. It's almost like a steel blue. I really love it. It also comes with the blacked out wheels and trim. But yes, overall, I'm really impressed by this Honda. Again, I haven't been in Honda vehicles lately. I'm really excited to review more. I'm really impressed with how this vehicle feels. It's solidly built. The material qualities are pretty good. There are some cheap bits here and there. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a luxury vehicle, but it feels very well engineered and tuned. And tuning is a big part of a vehicle, and just some manufacturers have a hard time combining everything into a cohesive package, and Honda did just that. So guys, what do you think of the Hondas? Do you prefer it over the Toyota hybrid system? Have you driven both? Let me know in the comments. But anyway guys, appreciate your support. It helps me get these press cars and other vehicle manufacturers. Thanks for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video.